So I'll just say this, okay, I love you and it's okay. And if you disagree, it's okay. If you wanna leave, that's okay, okay? Thank you for being a member all this time, I appreciate it. But what you're, in my opinion, what your misunderstanding is, and what you have maybe you didn't see is, so all this kerfuffle starts with a simple tweet, and then at least half a dozen videos from other progressives or leftists online, all attacking us and calling us all sorts of names. So maybe you don't see that, so you think like, well, what is Cenk so upset about, right? So they call us all these names and they feel super proud about it, like, we are more pure. So then I fight back on Twitter, and then all of a sudden they're like, how could you insult us? We were just, all we were doing was punching you in the face. No, that's a right-wing position. You punch, then you gotta expect that I'm gonna counter, right? I don't mean you, Kid Tested. I mean, for folks who are out there, here, I'll name a name, Lance from the Serps. He's on here all the time on the Power Panel, right? And he comes out and does this like video about how he's so correct and, oh yeah, the Young Turks, correct? No, Lance, you're not goddamn correct. Nobody elected you. The polling shows no one agrees with you. Your 12 buddies online, I don't care, okay? And say, oh yeah, I'm 100%, he's 99.95% correct. Oh, I'm gonna correct him. No. So don't, look, you wanna say, hey, I don't agree with you, God bless. You wanna say, Cenk, you shouldn't say anything back because you're being rude. Come on, brother or sister, I don't know what your
I just gotta be honest, I just don't really care to like collaborate with any other leftist ever again at this point.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at, because they come on the show, they build a name for themselves, and then they build a bigger name for themselves, trashing us as if they don't know who we are, as if they haven't worked with us, they don't know what our actual political values are. So I don't, Jake, I never want to talk about them again. I never want to address them again. It's a waste of time. There's important stuff going on in the country. Our personal drama with a bunch of leftists on Twitter doesn't matter.
All right, last thing I'm gonna say on it, because you brought it up, is that I'm not the kind of guy to back down.
Now, when you say infighting, this is infighting. RBN and Convo Couch versus Majority Report and Humanist Report, that's not infighting. Convo Couch and RBN has two different goals, strategies, what we want to have achieved, and then the other two. So that's not infighting. This is infighting. Almost made this a graphic, but then I decided I didn't want to focus on this and had a bunch of other stories to focus on. But when we cut this, I mean, the people that's involved in here, you're talking Cenk, you're talking Anna, you're talking Emma, you're talking Mike from Humanist Report, you're talking David from Rational National, Lance from the Serfs. It almost feels intentional. It almost feels intentional. He could have gotten, or they could have gotten, TYT, 20, what was it, $20 million from Jeffrey Katzenberg to do this. Remember, what the point is for people like this is to keep the left looking dumb, to keep the left being weak. So apparently, if you don't know the story, and if you don't know the story, you always know who to go to. You go to the ambulance chasers, and they were live last night. It was night, night. So it must have been here in Missouri. So they were live last night with the largest audience I've ever seen them have, which is more of a typical audience for us. And it was about this, and they were just cheesing up the yin yang about this story. This is up their alley. These food fights are up there, the Vanguard's alley. The people involved in this are the people that are the biggest names in independent media on the left, on the pseudo-left, I would say. If you were to divide us conservatives, everybody in conservatives or left, that's how kind of the United States does, and that's why they bunch us all together. These are the people that's advising the left. These are the people that take their cues from the Bernie Sanders syndicate. That's the AOCs. The Bernie Sanders is at the head of this syndicate, like the Mafia table, and the Ilhan Omars. They take their lessons, their talking points from that syndicate and regurgitates it. Like, for example, some of the interview you heard AOC speak on with the Lever. Watch how those talking points she says in there, watch how the people in this food fight will begin to regurgitate those same talking points. So let's play the video one more time. I guess this is, okay, let me read the caption actually first so you get context.
For one that I read. So I'll just say this, okay.
So where we got this from, it says, Cenk, tonight, this is 17 hours ago, so I'm assuming this is yesterday, Tuesday, the 11th. Cenk says goodbye to multi-year supporters, calls out lands from the serfs, and, I'm sorry, not Ann. Anna says she never wants to collaborate with any leftists again. 10 for 10, way to make yourselves irrelevant. Well done. I mean, we've already seen this pivot. We've already seen this pivot. It's been going on publicly. Wow. The Biden administration election, I would say it's been real public with that divide. So you're talking 2020 to 2019. But this is interesting. The NATO left versus the pseudo-left. And it seems like Cenk, in the money he received to pivot, it was a slow, low pivot. Now, for us, it wasn't slow. But for him, it was a slow pivot. Just one topic here. One issue here is slightly different. One candidate here is slightly different. One candidate, you're like, what? Like the LA mayor's race. When he was like endorsing, is it Richard Caruso? Whatever his name, Caruso. And everybody's like, what? Even the majority report. I wonder if this gives them all the people who are from the, because these are all his siblings. I mean, sorry, these are all his offspring. Everyone from the Rational National Humanist Report, Majority Report. These are kind of like offspring of, or offshoots, if you want to use that term. So by him sort of severing these ties, and we'll get to the tweets where he severed the ties. With him kind of severing these ties, do you think it gives them now, it relinquishes them from the Bernie Sanders industrial complex, where they now can pivot and update their stances more along the lines of a Black Power Media, of a Revolutionary Blackout Network, of a Convo Couch? I wonder, will we start to see differences of opinions on other policies because of these breaks? Do they feel now, okay, we can disagree with the big bad Darth Vader? Let's listen again. And then I'll show you some tweets, and then we'll end this segment.
I love you, and it's okay. And if you disagree, it's okay. If you want to leave, that's okay. Okay. Thank you for being a member all this time. I appreciate it. But what you're, in my opinion, what your misunderstanding is, and what you have maybe you didn't see is, so all this kerfuffle starts with a simple tweet, and then at least half a dozen videos from other progressives or leftists online, all attacking us and calling us all sorts of names. So maybe you don't see that, so you think like, well, what is Cenk so upset about, right? So they call us all these names, and they feel super proud about it. Like,
so he's like to his audience, you may not know what's going on, so let me let you in on some high school gossip. Audience, do you not see? Do you see how, to me, this could be intentional? This break that TYT has been sort of rocking with, pulling his rope, and the rope has finally snapped. They didn't pivot away the serfs and all of his offspring didn't pivot away with their stance with the unhoused in LA specifically. They didn't pivot away with his, announcing Richard Caruso as his candidate. They didn't pivot away with some of the defund the police and the police stance. They didn't pivot away with any of this stuff when Olayemi went on there and talked to Anna about police reform. So to me, this is very suspicious that he's making this public like this, where he's taking online beefs, or Twitter beefs, I should say, because all of this is online. Twitter beefs, which the people who follow him are in the millions on, I think it's 5 million on YouTube. He doesn't have that on Twitter. So a smaller amount of people know this drama. He says, let me tell the millions of people why I don't vouch for these people no more. This seems intentional to me. And hasn't Anna been antagonizing? Hasn't Anna been like poking the bear? Hasn't Anna been like, it's out of the blue? Call me a woman. Don't call me like, who was calling you that? Who was calling you a birthing person? I can't even remember the other name. But who was calling you that, Anna? Doesn't that seem like out of the blue? Like she's picking a topic, a culture war topic, and siding in the culture war, siding essentially with the conservatives, not in the actual stance on whether trans people should have rights, because she says, no, that's not what I'm saying. But she's siding at least in a culture war fight over language with conservatives. So this pivot has been long coming. It happens to have coincided with the receiving of 20 million, I think it is, dollars. It's been slow. And now they're saying, no, motherfucker, this is the break here. This is like what the United States did. You know what the TYT did? They studied NATO and the US military. Anna is the weapons that they sent into Ukraine, trying to encroach on Russia's border. Anna is that encroachment was Anna saying, hey, trans rights, culture war, let's have a fight. Then they have a fight. Now this is the United States. Oh, what is this? Or NATO. Seems like the same strategy to me. Seems like it. But let's continue to listen. Then I'll show you the tweets. I mean, it's probably 10 tweets I have, maybe more, maybe 15 tweets I have to show.
God, we are more pure. So then I fight back on Twitter, and then all of a sudden they're like, how could you insult us? All we were doing was punching you in the face. No, that's a right-wing position. You punch, then you gotta expect that I'm gonna counter, right? I don't mean you, Kid Tested. I mean, for folks who are out there, here, I'll name the name, Lance from the Serps. He's on here all the time on the Power Panel, right? And he comes out and does this like video about how he's so.
Now, I didn't know Lance was an offspring of them. I didn't know of the Serps or Lance until they got in it with RBN maybe 2 or 3 months ago. That was the first time I even heard of them or him. I think it's called the Serps, but it's just one person, right? The only person I ever hear of is Lance. So I'm assuming it's just one. But let's continue. The more I'm hearing him talk, this seems very intentional that you poke these people, and I'm saying these people as in your offspring, you poke these people, and then when they react, you want to say, that's it. And then she says, I never want to team up with a leftist again. What is this all signaling? What is this all signaling? What does this mean? But $20 million didn't affect you. Am I undercutting that? It's not 20 billion. No, it can't be 20 billion. Yeah, no, 20 million. I know I got that right. Not 20 billion. Oh, let's finish the clip. I keep saying that, and then he said some other nonsense. Let's see how long I go.
So correct and oh yeah, the Young Turks, correct? No, Lance, you're not goddamn correct. Nobody elected you. The polling shows no one agrees with you. Your 12 buddies online. I don't care, okay? And say, oh yeah, I'm 100%. He's 99.95% correct. Oh, I'm gonna correct him. No. So don't look. You want to say, hey, I don't agree with you. God bless. You want to say, Cenk, you shouldn't say anything back because you're being rude. Come on, brother or sister. I don't know what. I
just gotta be honest. I just don't really care to like collaborate with any other leftist
right
ever
here.
again at this point.
Yeah,
I'm gonna rewind that. This comment right here, and I'm laughing because I'm an aging person, so I'm not like I'm taking it as this applies to me. Aging people get short-tempered in defense. Maybe that's my excuse for my rants on here. Thank you, Carrie. That's funny. It's funny because I went to a high school with somebody named Carrie Ann Scott. Yeah, that is a great freeze frame. Let's continue, boy. That was a funny comment.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at, because they come on the show, they build a name for themselves, and then they build a bigger name for themselves, trashing us as if they don't know who we are, as if they haven't worked with us, they don't know what.
Okay, I forgot. I said I was gonna rewind this when she says, I never wanna, like, why couldn't she just say, I never ever wanna team up with any of these people ever again? Why does she have to say, I never ever wanna team up with a leftist? I think that's the word she used, again. You see why, to me, this seems intentional? Jeffrey Katzenberg is sitting at the house with a cigar like, yes. He couldn't receive $20 million and make an immediate pivot to this. It had to be a slow pivot. Removing leftists and replacing them with liberals in their audience. Slowly. How many people say, yeah, I stopped listening to TYT 2 years ago, 3 years. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that say well into 7, 8 years ago. I'm just saying, you know how many people say that every time we do like a segment like this segment, when we post this video, I stopped listening to TYT back in. This is a slow pivot. Slowly but surely moving. Now, I do think all of this started with a Olay tweet, is the first thing I recall. And it was several days ago. I believe Anna tweeted out, we're going to search for this and show you, tweeted out something just out of the blue again. And then Olay responded, and then that's when it kind of went off. So it just started with them, and then somehow other people got involved. Even Emma got dragged into this. It almost all right, so I'm gonna be laughing throughout this a lot. So
you're being rude. Come on, brother or sister. I don't know what. I
just gotta be honest. I just don't really care to like collaborate with any other leftist ever again at this point.
Yeah,
ever again. At this point, who are you gonna collab with? You see the luxury of people like this, and you see the intentions. I never want to collaborate with a leftist, so she's basically saying, one, they're not part of a movement, but this is an acknowledgement that they're not part of any movement, and they don't want to be part of one. But they're telling you they're fighting for the worker.
No, that's where I'm at, because they come on the show, they build a name for themselves, and then they build a bigger name for themselves, trashing us as if they don't know who we are, as if they haven't worked with us, they don't know what our actual political values are. So I don't, Jake, I never want to talk about them again. I never want to address them again. It's a waste of time. There's important stuff going on in the country. Our personal drama with a bunch of leftists on Twitter doesn't matter.
All right, last thing I'm gonna say on it, because you brought it up, is that I'm not the kind of guy to back down.
He's not the kind of guy to back down. So be scared of my Fred Flintstone ass. I'm scared of Fred Flintstone. This is comedy. I'm not the type to back down. I'm gonna make other videos. Food fight, Bernie Sanders industrial complex. They are collapsing. Or maybe it's imploding. Let's continue. Now I can show you the tweets. Oh, Vanguard. Vanguard, of course, covers it. Okay, so why don't we do that? Let's see. Let's see what the Vanguard. So they sum up the first part. So this will be a good.
Limey Lawrence posted this video. If you guys don't know, Limey Lawrence, a public defender in New York City, also has her own YouTube channel and is a member of the Leftist Mafia show on Twitch and YouTube. She's been on the Vanguard several times. Zach and I are both big fans of her work and her commentary. But she posted this video 13 hours ago about Angel Reese, the basketball player from LSU, who's obviously been quite a controversial figure. I'm sure you guys have been following that story, at least peripherally. Let's take a look at Ole's video.
Just now on the timeline, I scroll in and I see some girl try to compare Angel Reese to Sid from Ice Age. And that's when I really realized, babe, y'all are some fucking haters, babe. Like, babe, listen, haters. If I don't tell you nothing else but fucking people, they are haters, babe. Like, if you spend time on the internet, you will know that the app out there going to hell. Yes, sirree, Bob. Yes, sirree, Bob. Going to hell. Okay?
I haven't seen
Let
this
me tell
video.
you something. The express train straight to hell gonna be booked. It's going to be late. It's going to be late because they're gonna get stopped and stalled because of the traffic. Because of the traffic, it's gonna be slam packed, booked to hell. Hell.
Yeah. So as you guys might be wondering, first of all, I mean, Ole's hilarious. I love her commentary as always, and obviously this poster in question is a total hater. Angel Reese is beautiful, but so yeah, I thought that was worthy of Ole's criticism. And I'm sure you guys are wondering, what the fuck does this have anything to do with Anna Kasparian? I'm sure Ole was also wondering that last night after she posted this, and all of a sudden Anna Kasparian pops up in her replies again to this totally innocuous.
Okay, so this is where the Vanguard is useful to the left because they keep track of all the drama. This is something I would not have seen because I was starting from, I guess she did quote tweet this, so I guess I would have seen this tweet. But you see how quickly I was able to get it from the Vanguard? I was searching and searching. So they are the bookkeepers of drama.
Innocuous video about Angel Reese has nothing to do with Anna. But Ole pops into her replies and says, "Oh, Ole, do you mean people who demand people, quote unquote, cook their friends? Those kind of haters?" Out of the blue, completely out of nowhere here.
What?
Like just totally random. I'm guessing she was a few glasses of wine deep, if I just have to guess. But yeah, this is totally uncalled for, totally out of nowhere. Anna Kasparian wading into this Twitter thread for no reason to say, "Oh, Ole, you mean the people who demand people cook their friends, those kind of haters?" To which Ole replied with a simple question mark, being, unaware of what Anna's even referencing here. Then Anna responds with this video clip from a recent episode of the Leftist Mafia, which, as I mentioned, Ole is a co-host of. And this was a clip from a recent episode where they were discussing Anna's recent controversial take about how she doesn't want to be referred to as a birthing person and how you can support trans people and trans rights while also shying away from using that term because, as she said, it's quite degrading. So let's take a look at this clip from the Leftist Mafia and then we'll break it down.
should be able to
Very.
mention those without like having to classify it as, you know, but you shouldn't get mad at her for this because of her history. No, I mean,
think
no
it makes
one's mad at
sense
her
if you
for her
wanna change that
history.
person. I think it makes sense if you want her to change her mind and to understand what she did wrong. Because if it's just if without that context, like again, that's why it's important if you know her that you do include that context, because she has to understand these disagreements are coming from an honest place, and we're not just doing it for clicks, right? Like that's so.
No, of course.
But that's not the same. That's not the same, though. That's not the same.
I have to say it. Oh my God, I have to say it. I like Anna, but I feel a little bit like this is the coddle the white lady hour. And you know why? And you know why? I thought this even earlier because before this, the Majority Report put out a thing too, and everybody else, and I was like, boy, everybody sure feels the need to trip over their fucking feet to come out to defend her for getting cooked when all of the people get cooked all the time. Nobody I have yet to watch a video of anybody defending me from getting fucking cooked. I've never seen it. I've never seen everybody come out. She has a lot of fucking bad takes, and then she gets cooked because she comes out unprovoked. She asks to be cooked. She got up today and she said, Twitter, cook me.
Right. Listen, I
have yet to delete the
if they didn't have Ole on this show, I don't know what this show would even be. Look at everybody's expressions after she talked. Did you see everybody's expressions before she did? I don't have any idea what this show, but anyway, I think this is enough video. I really want to move on from this. So I think that's enough video to give you the background. So that was weird. So to go back, let's go back to Anna's tweet because now I can try to understand what she was meaning here. She says, "Do you mean people who demand people eat their friends? Those kind." So she's calling her a hater. Those kind of haters, because I guess Anna took offense. So Anna feels like they took the first shots. I guess that's what she's saying. And then she posts that. So this is one of those comments. And the thing is, she wouldn't have got an answer from me. Because I know when people do this. This is one of those comments where people, you ever have a conversation with somebody or a group and somebody says a comment that seemingly doesn't have any sense to the conversation. That's intentional. So you go, what? So they can lay out some new bullshit. I recognize that shit. I do this with my wife all the time. Not that she's gonna lay out bullshit, but when she wants me, and I'll just go, I won't take the bait. So I wouldn't have taken the bait. I would have just said something like, yeah, like those, or something like went along with it. Because she wants you to say what? So she can respond back what she really wants to do, which is to bring up that video. So I find that very funny. So now we can kind of show some of the tweets. Now, since the Humanist Report, I think he has me blocked, like all of RBN blocked. So I'll show you this screenshot. This is from Due Dissidence. These tweets are out of order. I don't have any idea the order. I'm not really particularly interested in going in order. I guess as we read through them, we'll sort of figure out which one is ahead of the other. So you may know more about this than me. Let's read Jank's tweet first. Then what is the disagreement? All of this started with Anna saying she would like to be called a woman. Everyone agrees that's cool. I must insert, there was more than she just said. She didn't just come out and say, hey, my pronouns or what I would like to be called is woman. That's not what she did. I'm sorry, that's what she did. Not just saying she wants to be called a woman. Back to this tweet. So then you guys lost it and started calling everyone fascist, even though, and it goes on, like that's a jump. And Jake does this, he's an exaggerator. She said she's a woman, and then people went to a fascist. Does that make sense? Of course not. So Michael responds to that by saying, who lost it exactly? a lot of people respectfully explain why that tweet was harmful in the nicest fucking way possible. But you both ignored good faith critiques, then punched left and cried victim. Have you considered that you're the one being unreasonable here? Now, the offspring, Michael, is like, what? What's happening? They're not understanding because maybe they're not in on what Cenk is doing, the pivot. They were latching on to what TYT and the Bernie Sanders industrial complex is doing, but now they're realizing, wait, you didn't receive $20 million, Michael. Now they're realizing, wait a minute, that $20 million he got from Jeffrey has affected him. But it's too late. He's already drug you this far. So with this first one, it says, I was quite a fan of Anna. Cenk, not so much. But Anna has shown she has such a fragile little ego that she's putting hurt feelings over petty BS above the broader movement. Now, we want to think back to the CIA tactics that Nick has. We want to think back to this like seemingly trivial disagreement now, because this is not her saying in policy I want this. This is her saying in my personal life this is what I think. Now you can have your critiques of it, but this doesn't seem, breaking up would be like forced to vote. This doesn't seem like I want to break up, unless this is your whole point. It's to break off from the left. And it seems like that's what TYT's point is. But this is a video because what she mentioned about being one to call a woman, which is completely fine. It seems contradictory, that video she put out, to this older video and somebody found. And let's listen to Anna.
They know there's a difference between gender and sex. They know that it is very possible for someone to be born a biological male or a biological female, but in terms of gender, identify differently as a male or non-binary, but they still have the biological capacity, the physical capacity to get pregnant. So that's why the language, the rhetoric is inclusive to include those people. It is not a big deal, but they make it a big deal. They know.
That's Anna. So again, to me, this is almost one of the red flags that the $20 million moved these people, Anna and Cenk. This is almost the exact opposite of what she just recently tweeted out and what she started all of this. She just started a fight. This is no reason for any of this. They're having a fight about trans language and the need for this inclusive language, or the want for it, or the push for it, whatever word you want to use. What was the need for you to come out and say this, to start this fight? Just saying, she is literally saying the opposite. She is literally saying what the SERPs, what the Humanist Report, with Rational National, with Olay, what all of them are saying, she literally says it right here. And they just direct it at Anna, but somehow it's different. I'm not gonna go through the video, but you see there's more video. I'm not gonna play these things, just to kind of show you this is still a big story. Not only did Cenk appropriately call out the SERPs, now this is somebody on Cenk's side. Oh yeah, I remember. I wanted to save this to show that there are people who are on Cenk's side, apparently. Not only did Cenk appropriately call out the SERPs by name, but Anna highlights exactly how weaselly Lance is by using TYT to grow his brand, and instead of vouching for them, he abandons them when it helps his brand. Anna is right. Lance is just scummy. Somebody else does a TYT's Anna and Jank divorcing the left is progressivism dead? Well, we've been already saying that. Then we have this person kind of summing it up. Anna said something transphobic. People, hey, this is pretty transphobic. Jank, we're being attacked. Why are you attacking us? Why? What happened to free speech? And so on and so on. You see there in that tweet. Let's continue with some of the tweets. Just read that one. Here's Jake. This is David Dole, Rational National. The issue is adopting right-wing framing, a complete non-issue, birthing people meant to further otherize trans people during an unprecedented right-wing attack on their existence. This is the Rational National. David, and then Jank says, so David, you agree that birthing people shouldn't be used in a political context as the default term for women. Great. That's exactly what we're saying. Bad news. Apparently that means you're adopting right-wing framing. What the fuck? This is Lance here responding. That's what the surf says. And this is who Nick calls the Smurfs with an M. Birthing person is an inclusionary term for trans men and non-binary people who give birth. No one is saying women can't be called women except for right-wingers who do that to trans people. This is a non-issue that is being elevated as a real one. And that's what I was just saying. It seems like to be an issue that has been manufactured by TYT. TYT gets $20 million. Few years later, they're divorcing their offspring. It doesn't seem like it's unrelated to me. Tim Pool says, no, actually TYT is saying, unless is TYT right wing? This is one of the first tweets I saw where I was like, oh wow, this is still going on, because this has been over a couple of days. Left-wing extremists help right-wing so much. 66% of this country is left-wing. According to polling on policy issues, they don't believe in defunding the police or being called Latinx or calling women birthing or abolishing prisons. Anyone who claims they do is lying. Now, who does this serve? Who does this serve? You mean to tell me he gets $20 million and then and then Anna goes from the video I just showed you and they go to this? Defund the police, abolishing prisons. These are radical left, and then birthing people, Latinx. So he throws in some culture. He throws in a lot of stuff here. He's casting a wide net to offend a lot of people on the left, and where you have to ask yourself, why is he doing this? Why is Anna and Jane manufacturing this? For what purpose? Here is Brother Nick, and he concentrates on something else, which is the defund the police part that he says. Most voters, including independents, support defund the police, by the way. And then Nick shows the receipt, and I'll bring it up here. A majority of voters want to reallocate funds from their local police budget to crime prevention initiatives such as counseling, drug treatment, job training, education, including 74% of Democrats and 55% of independent or third-party voters. That's Nick with the receipt. Jordan Peterson actually chimes in. And he says, now this is the right winger, the Jordan Peterson says, and you're one of the worst offenders in that regard, saying that Jank is one of the worst offenders in saying he wants to defund the police, saying he wants to abolish prisons, and some of the other issues here, I guess he's trying to say. That gets 1,200. Here's Ole. No one's helping the right wing more than you and your girl, who's been parroting back their talking point for at least a year while insisting y'all are leftist champions. It's transparent. It's embarrassing. It's not keeping y'all relevant or making you the leader you think. Wow, she is castrating this motherfucker here. You think only the leaders you only think you are. 4,500. Over a 500,000 people eyes has seen this tweet. That is complete destruction there. And I've had enough. Like, there's a lot more tweets. I mean, let me see if there's any import. I've had enough of this. I gotta move on from this. Oh, Emma. So, because for the graphic, I need to include an Emma tweet. So, because you're gonna be put on there. Isn't your point contradictory? If that number is correct, that means that any aversion is I'm sorry. Let me go up here because he says a reply. So let's go up here where you can see both of them. Isn't your point contradictory? If that number is correct, that means that any aversion to inclusive language is marginal compared to policy sets. Democrats have been doing well electorally as well. Nobody is making voting decisions based on clumsy activist medical language. And that's in response to that. Okay, to that there. And then Jenks says, Emma, I see leftists using this language outside of clinical context all the time. This new excuse that no one was using it anyway is bullshit, but I'm happy about it. If everyone wants to retire these terms to just clinical context, great, I agree. How is this not he's the language police. He's the language police. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I can't do no more of this. If you want to know more about this, go to the Vanguard and watch their coverage of this. But yeah, I can't do any more of this.